Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So for those of you who've watched most of my videos about the raids, you know I'm not a fan of the discovery mode. And the reason I'm not a fan of the discovery mode is I believe that it should have been released with the raid or not at all. But there is a silver lining, I guess, because somebody says, or there's a saying that goes, better late than never. Now, with this whole discovery mode, I wrote it off for a long time until some friends of mine today said, hey, let's jump into the discovery mode. We're trying to farm base materials in order to craft some of the gear sets. And behold, from the loot boxes there that you get the keys, you're able to get yourself some base material. So this is one benefit of actually using the discovery mode to farm these items. Now, you also get these base materials as well if you did the normal raid, but consider it as a secondary source to get these base materials if you were to go into the discovery as well. So if you're lacking materials, you're trying to fine tune one of the gear sets that's raid exclusive, then you're able to get these materials also from there. Now, the second reason that I definitely say that has some benefit to the discovery mode, even though I'm fully against it in a sense, but I've been able to see the benefit because some people have been able to talk to me and show me some of the, I would say much more, advantages to running it is what I'm going to call it, is that the fact that you can actually get a load of items from these bosses when you take them out. Now, I think you get about 5 or 4 items per boss, and looking at the case of about 4 different bosses and looking at how you can actually leverage this, you and your team can actually use this to farm for specific items that people need. The difference between doing this with 7 other people versus going into a 4-man mission with people that you don't know or randoms, or even 4 people that 3 other people that is that this gives you more of a bigger chance of getting very specific items. Now, consider me today while we were running the raid, and I fortunately got my my Eagle Bearer from my buddy Jim. But one of the things I was looking for was a Sokolov Concern Mask with 2 health mods and 1 offensive mod, and then with hard hitting. That's a very specific item to be searching for. But with the raid, I was able to get, some guys were able to drop for me something close to what I wanted, but the only difference was instead of the hard hitting talent, it had a separate talent on there. Now, I believe that if we had run this discovery mode maybe a little bit more, or even maybe the regular raid, I would have probably been able to get this item. Now, you can do this with the regular raid every time or over and over again, but with the discovery mode, it just makes things easy. Another thing too is you can test out different builds in the discovery mode, maybe to see how they'll go. This is more for veteran players. Today I was testing out a Tip of Despair build, and we melted Buddy and Lucy. And in fact, it was so fast, we were like, whoa, they already disappeared. And using that build and just kind of seeing what it's capable of doing. Now, in a real raid, unless everybody is running very tight, builds and running a tight sequence, I probably will not run this build because I won't be doing as much damage as I would love to do until I get myself a more min-max Tip of Despair build, which is going to be really difficult to get, honestly, because a lot of the way the items roll kind of hold you back from getting more damage on your build. And so I guess there is some redeemable aspect to the discovery mode of the raid, because one of the reasons that I also kind of wrote it off and just really made things more complicated was when it was first released, the matchmaking for it was actually quite hideous as well. And so I guess if you and a team of people want to go for a raid, you can say, hey, let's do a little bit of farming. If there are people that in a guild or in a Discord server, you guys can run in there, you can take out the NPCs, you can take out Boomer, you can take out all the other guys and get yourself some really decent loot. And everything is 500 gear score, but as we all know, 500 gear score doesn't mean squat. I mean, my best P416 is like a 496 gear score P416, while all the other 500 gear score ones I've gotten are on average 2,000 base damage lower than the one that I had that has a lower gear score than others. All right, that's all I wanted to just put out there for you guys today. If you were considering a good farming source, you have a bunch of guys that are sitting around, maybe even 7 people or 6 people, you can knock out the raid, because if you already have the experience, the discovery mode is a cakewalk. I don't think it really will prepare a lot of people other than maybe Razorback and Boomer. It doesn't really show what the challenge of Buddy and Lucy or Weasel and all the others can look like, especially for a new team. So that's pretty much it. And I guess if you have any comments, if you have any things you want to add also to this, I guess you can put them in the comment section. Let's have this conversation for possibilities of farming loot, maybe even getting the items that you want. This might be how we, the hardcore grinders, can get the items that we actually want in the game. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much for your time and your audience. Peace.